Hello everyone, my name is Mila Dolina and I'm a holistic fertility and prenatal yoga specialist. Today I'm going to share the story of my birthing experience, even though it was like 7 years ago, but still I think it can be useful, inspiring for many women, and that's the reason why I decided to share it. First of all, in this video, I'm not sharing professional information. I'm not a doctor, I'm not the midwife. So that's all my personal experience, and I don't encourage anyone to do the same. I'm just sharing what I was doing, how I was preparing, how mentally, physically, what I was doing, and basically that's all. I truly respect and all the experiences. Every mom is the best mom for their child, despite the birthing, despite the conditions they had there. Just to mention it that it's it's not mandatory. You need to have the same birthing experience to feel that you are a super mom. However, as a woman, as a mindful person, I try my best when I got to know that I'm pregnant in order to have this experience for myself and my child. That's the idea of this video. I had a home birth experience. That it was not the hospital birth, and it was back home in Ukraine. As I mentioned, it was 7 years ago. Again, one more time, I do not encourage anyone for home birth. I feel it's really serious and conscious choice you and your partner should make. And in my case, it was our mutual decision. Me and my husband, we decided to go for home birth, and I was preparing. I was mentally and physically ready. It gave me the confidence, and the woman really should feel it. And of course, she should prepare, she should learn, and surrender herself with a specialist who supports her and guiding her throughout this journey, and of course, at the time of labor, of birthing. My labor lasted 25 hours. And what was so amazing about it, I didn't feel pain. I was able to go through contractions in a way that I was like controlling them, they were not controlling me. Basically, when my labor started, it was around 3 in the morning. I felt it was like really gentle. It was not strong, but still I felt scared. And at that moment, at that really moment, I cried, and I was so desperate. I was so helpless, and I was praying in that moment, and I was like, in my praying, I was addressing the God and telling, I devote myself to you. I trust you. Please guide me throughout this journey, because I don't feel I can do it on my own. And that really moment, I felt like after this prayer, after this talk to God, I can say something shifted in within myself. I felt confident, and I was like feeling what I should do, what I should not do. Confidence in myself, trusting my feelings, trusting my instincts. I had never such a strong feeling in my life, and that I believe that was the most important thing, to trust yourself during the childbirth, that you are doing the right things for you and your baby. And of course, in my case, I was professional midwife, even too, so I was not alone. From that place where I lived at the moment I was giving birth to the actual place of giving birth, it was like 40 minutes ride by car. And while in the car, I was going to meet my midwife at that place. My contractions, they were like 5 minutes. There was a break between the contractions, and the whole time I was meditating. So I was on my beats. They helped me to focus more. And on the way to that place, I was meditating, as I mentioned before. And it happened to be the place where I gave birth. The elevator didn't work. That's really moment, and that flat was on 7th floor. So I I was walking, and I think that also make things faster. By the time I reached apartment and I was in a bed, I was diluted 5 or 7 centimeters, and midwife said we still have time till the morning. It was around 11 in the evening. It was 11 p.m. And but due to most probably walking on the 7th floor, it fastened the period. I felt like stronger contractions or waves, and maybe like in 2 hours. She came around 2 a.m. The water broke, and she checked on me and she said, "This is the moment." During the whole process, I was laying down on a bed. I was on my side. Waves or contractions, however you want to call them, I felt like I was diving deep. I was putting myself into hypnosis, or I don't know how you will call it. It happened. I was just guided, trusting my body. I was just doing what I felt to do. During each and every wave, I felt like I was going underwater really deep, and it felt like some cosmic place. I didn't feel any pain there. I can say I was even enjoying, and I felt good being there. I felt like disconnected from material life. And it's totally, I would say, cosmic experience. I was really happy that moment. That sounds weird, but it is. On those waves, I was leaving my contractions in such a way, and like it was happening for a couple of hours, and there was some moment, and the head started appearing, and I touched the head of my son, and my midwife, she let me touch, and she's like, he wants to go, he's ready to go. I just asked her, what is the time? And when she told me the time, it was like almost 4 a.m. And I told her, it's the time to give birth. She put me on a special midwife's chair. It's basically the normal chair, but with a hole. I sat in that chair. My friend, she was behind me, so I could just lean back on her to feel more comfortable. And there was 3 attempts, and on the third, I gave birth. Again, the breathing exercise I was practicing during the childbirth. The ones I was preparing myself before the whole pregnancy, I was doing yoga and breathing exercises, and they were super helpful, especially the ones at the moment of active childbirth. I was breathing in a way. I didn't push. I felt the urge to push, but at the same time, I was like holding through the breath. I was holding myself, and that the job happened by itself. It's difficult to explain, but I felt that urge to push, and instead of pushing, I just breathed out this tension. I just breathed out in a certain way the tension, and I felt when I was releasing the tension with the breathing, my baby, my baby went out naturally without any extra efforts from my side. So I was just basically just breathing, and came out. Just 3 cycles of this breath, and I was having my son on my hands. Basically, all the birthing. The active stage was, I could say, maybe from 2 a.m. till 4, 2-3 hours, when I was diving deep into those waves, contractions, and living and these intense feelings throughout. And I tried myself the Sadhu board or nail board, so I can really explain the whole process when you are standing on on a Sadhu board with those sharp nails. In the beginning of when the birthing starts, you feel the contractions. They are really mild, and they are not taking control of you. You can do your stuff. You can do whatever you did before. But with the time, they are getting more and more intense, and that's the moment when they are taking over you. Like from the experience of my clients, other women. That's the stories of birthing. You can, as a girl, you can hear them like from your childhood, and it's I believe it's important that you absorb the positive ones and you stay away. You don't let to soak it in your mind the negative ones. I heard those stories, and from my own experience, I realized that the moment when the contraction, the waves, they were more intense, I look at them, I see that pain, let's say, and like I'm facing it. I don't let it control me. I see it, I face it, and in a way, I feel stronger that pain, and it helped me to go through it more consciously, mindfully, without feeling that pain, because I was like in control of it, and I was able to put myself in a hypno meditative state where I leave those contractions, just leave them in different dimension. And I believe another important thing when I was on my bed, like before we reached that place, where I was at home and my family came. They stayed with me in the room. I was in a bed around 7 p.m. and they were like talking. I was just in a bed going through my process and just saying some random things about, I don't know, economic in the country or prices or whatsoever. And I remember myself at some point I felt so annoyed. I was like, I'm I'm trying to give birth now and you're talking about some prices and economy in the country, and I was like, I felt so irritated, and I just told them without being afraid that I can hurt someone. I'm not a good girl. I just told them, please leave me. I'm going through the process. I need some time on my own, and that was really helpful because that the moment I felt the urge to leave my contractions, even they were not long for at that time, but I was training myself for the stronger ones. I was on my own. I was focusing on what was coming, and I was processing it in a way through the breathing, the movement, and it's important. I feel it's important part throughout the pregnancy. When I got to know that I'm pregnant, I took it seriously. So I started preparing myself. I was reading books. I found midwife, and also I was like taking some classes with her. She was telling me what to expect, what are their different outcomes. I was also seeing a doctor, traditional, in a hospital, so I was doing all the checkups, blood, everything. And on a regular basis, there was my yoga practice. There was like daily meditation for 2 hours since I give birth, not anymore. But that time I felt like my son influenced me being in my. It gave me the feeling of stability, more mental stability. Basically, I didn't work. Thanks to my husband, I had this opportunity not to work, and I was fully focusing on my health, on my well-being, on my mental health. Yoga, regular daily meditation, and I was also the first thing I was doing when I was waking up, I was journaling. And there is like one book I was reading that time. The author, she advising Every morning you wake up, you set the timer, and you write down anything which is in your mind. What sort of like list to do, some from the last you remember something, and you just put it all on empty sheets of your journal. It helps to give space for the most important things in your life, for creativity, for something what really matters. I had this practice every morning. I was waking up, and the first thing I was just journaling, and whichever was in my mind. And during those times, I could also reflect on my emotions, what I was feeling, and my communications, and with the people who I was surrendered with people around me. And also it helped me to see like my intentions, to see my fears. And again, it's not like advice, do not use psychologists or whatsoever, but you can really see your patterns. You can really see what is pushing you to do things in your life. Are they out of fears, or are they out of love? To see your true intentions. And that was another thing which was really helpful. During my pregnancy, I didn't share with people I know, I didn't share that I'm going to have a home birth and I'm preparing. I felt like this information really sacred. And I don't want my ego to ruin everything, because it sounds like I'm the one who's gonna give birth. It's like natural. I'll do on my own. I don't need a hospital. So it might sound like I'm so cool, and I felt responsible. So that's not just me being cool. I'm responsible for my child. I was afraid that my ego can ruin this. I was just kept quiet. I didn't tell anyone our plan that we wanted to do a home birth. And I can say I was like mindful. I was preparing. I was meditating. It helped me to stay focused. Why I do it? What is the reason behind it? What is the reason behind 2 hour meditations a day? And I was also doing some practices which is called in Sanskrit Garbha Sanskar. This is the mindful practice which mom can do during the during the pregnancy, and during those activities she can somehow influence the baby in the like which is in the womb, so she can shape the character of future baby, shape some ideas or experience for the baby, because everything the moms do the baby, they can feel it, and they can feel those emotions which mom is experiencing. I was also preparing myself in those like Garbha Sanskar activities, and it was like hard work, but at that moment I didn't feel it like hard work, because I was fully dedicated to the baby and to make it the best possible experience for me and my son. That's basically all I wanted to share about it. And if you have any questions to speak more about certain things, I would be happy to answer them. And stay tuned for more videos.